Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. This is Dina. It is the 11th of December, so I have been absent for a couple of days. My husband and I flew down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and we were met at the airport by our dear friends Jim and Sandy, and they drove us back to their house, and we've stayed with them for a couple of days before we head off on our trip. So, they have been great hosts and took us to the Manatee Bay, and we went to see if there were any manatees out there, and there weren't. They have a sign out where they track what they've seen, though, out in the water in 4 different zones right around this power plant, and it was too warm for them. If it's warm enough out in the ocean, or the temperature is warm enough, they don't have to come up right next to the building. The building is a power plant, and they have discharge water that comes out that's really, really warm. And so when it is colder out in the ocean, the manatees like to come and be in that warm water, and they can have hundreds of them there. And our friends Jim and Sandy have seen it like that, and they have pictures of it in the museum. We went through the museum as well, but we didn't see any of those. We did see 2 different kinds of really beautiful fish that were in large portion there, and so that was fun, but we didn't get to see any manatees, but it was pretty, and we got some pictures there. And one of the things we did there was to recreate a picture we took 10 years ago. The first time we ever visited our friends at their current home in Florida was 10 years ago. And we went out to breakfast on our last day with them and had a picture made of the 4 of us at the pier where the restaurant was located. And it popped up in my friend Sandy's memories on Facebook right before we arrived, and so she thought that was just so cool that here we were coming to visit them almost exactly 10 years later. So we posed in the similar surrounding at the water, but not at the same restaurant, to recreate the picture. And then my husband put them, one above the other, so you can see us 10 years ago and then just this weekend. So I'll pop that in here so you can see that with some other pictures of us as we were doing things this weekend. In addition to having some great, just visit time and going out to eat together, we also went to Del Rey on the way here to Miami to get ready to get on our ship. But last night they took us to their 100-foot Christmas tree in Del Rey. And this is a Christmas tree that's 100 feet tall, but it is hollow on the inside. It's built on, I guess, a round structure. So you can actually walk in it. You can walk in the tree and look up and see all the lights all around you up to the point with a star on the tip top. Unfortunately, it was not open on Wednesday night when we went through. It's only open on the weekends to go through it because they have Santa Claus in there to talk to the children and whatnot. But we did get to see it from the outside. We had never seen it before. And as it turned out, they had some local people there who had either all communicated together or they all just kind of showed up together. I have a feeling that it was originally planned and then other people may have joined in. But it's just a free-for-all, people playing all kinds of drums. And other folks are just out there dancing. And they're just having a great time. It was just very festive. And so I've got some video of that. I'll pop it in here for you as well. good time. We took silly pictures and just chatted with each other the rest of the way then to our hotel. We did decide to stay in a hotel last night because we can Uber right over to the boat today. And our friends Jim and Sandy, who were going to bring us down today originally, found out their grandson has a show, a production at school today and this morning. And so we didn't want them to miss that, and we didn't want them to be stressed about getting us here early, and where would we wait, so it was just better that we came last night, even though we missed out on spending another night with them at their home. But we made the most of it. We didn't get here till almost 10:30 last night, and so we stayed together as long as we could. We had a good time. So that has been a wonderful way to start our trip, visiting with good friends you've had for many, many years. It's a balm to the soul, isn't it? It's great. But this was my friend that I made the greetings from the sea box for, the Kathy Haberman pattern, and the 3 ornaments. And I had changed one of the ornaments and I added their name above the word that was in the ornament. And so I had gifted that to my friend yesterday. And I will say that she was so enamored with it, and she just adored it, and she put it out in her home already, and there were some tears. So you've hit a good chord when someone has tears in their eyes because they love the gift so much, and the fact that you made it for them. So I would say that was a very successful choice to make that for her. So that's kind of where we are. Believe it or not, I have not cross-stitched since we left home. We left home on Thursday morning about 7:30, and we drove about an hour or so, and we grabbed the MARTA train and rode it right into the airport, and then flew to Fort Lauderdale, and our friends picked us up, and we've been with them ever since. And I got up this morning at the hotel here. We've had breakfast, and now we have checkout at 11, and right now it's probably around 9 o'clock. So we're going to finish repositioning some stuff on our luggage. You have to be careful when you fly. They actually confiscated our sunscreen at the airport. So now my husband's walking to a local Target nearby to get us some sunscreen. Because they thought the container was too big, even though the sunscreen, the amount we had in the bottle was only less than 4 ounces. The bottle could have held more than that. And so they didn't like it and they took it. And then my husband found they took his shaving cream as well. So now he's got to get that too. Anyway, but he's walking down there to get the little things that they took at the airport. They didn't take my scissors. They didn't take anything out of my cross stitch, which was great. So now I'm going to sit down, I think, and stitch a little bit. I don't know how much time or what time I may have once we get to the boat, because we'll get on the ship, we will go explore the ship, learn our way around. That's kind of what we do. And then we'll go to our room and unpack and get all settled in. And then, we want to be up for the bon voyage thing. And then we'll have dinner this evening. So hopefully I'll get some stitching in later, but we've never been on this ship. We've never been with this cruise line before. So we have to learn how it's all laid out and how you navigate all around our surroundings. So that'll be fun. But I did want to jump on and just let you know what I've been doing and introduce the fun little clips that I'll have of us with our friends. And I'll let you know where we were. And then next time you see me, hopefully, it'll be to share cross stitch with you. Happy stitching, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Dina, and this is a continuation of videoing about my cruise and my stitching as I'm traveling. Well, it's been a great trip so far. Today is the 16th of December, and it's the first time I've been able to really video because we've been so busy. We've had excursions every day, and my birthday balloons are still hanging around. There was a banner up across the door and birthday balloons when we came back from breakfast on my birthday. They had snuck in here and done that for me, which was really sweet. But I have been stitching, and I want to share that with you, and I'll tell you a little bit about the cruise as well. So we have been to St. Thomas, and in St. Thomas, we got on a bus, and we went to a beach. No, we got on a boat first. We got on a boat first, and we went about 30 minutes around to get on a bus to go to a beach in St. John's. And we wound up at a beach in St. John's, and we spent about an hour or two there. My husband went snorkeling. I chickened out. I didn't want to do it. Well, they did mention an undertow was pretty strong that day, and that you had to be a really good swimmer. And I haven't been swimming in a long time, so I wasn't quite sure of my capability. So my husband went snorkeling and said it really wasn't anything, and the current really wasn't bad at all. But unfortunately, he felt like the coral reef was not in good health, and there wasn't a lot to see. So I don't think I missed anything by staying on the beach with my toes in the sand. It was great. That was actually on my birthday. So for my birthday, I was on the beach in St. John's. It was great. And then yesterday we went to St. Kitts, and we took a unique tour. We got on a bus and went to the train station and got on a double-decker train, and we sat up top. It had a cover over it, but you were out. You know, you had open air and you could see everything. And it was a guided tour, and they served Coca-Cola and bottled water and drinks and everything complimentary. It was with your ticket. I got bottled water because I was afraid to drink anything else. You know, it wasn't on the ship. Anyway, lovely history of the St. Kitts and all about the island, and we toured all around the island and saw all the different churches and all the different neighborhoods, and an old remnants of windmills and a fort, and just it was great. And it was quite a long tour. We were gone about 4 hours. And when we got back from that tour, we knew we had another one today, and we looked at it, and we were actually going to get back in a Jeep and go to another beach. And the beaches here are beautiful, but we just didn't feel like we wanted to do that again because we had just spent a day at the beach a day before. So we turned our tickets in case someone else wanted to go, and guess what? We got up today. It's pouring down rain. We did the right thing. I don't know how we knew, but we did the right thing. So anyway, today we just decided to stay aboard the boat and our ship, I guess. They would be offended if I called it a boat. And we had a wonderful early breakfast, and then I went up to the observation area and looked out at the shoreline through the rain and sat there and stitched. And then my husband came and met me there, and he read a book, and then we went to lunch. And so now it is after lunch. My husband has gone for a walk, and I'm hoping to catch you up on all the stitching I've been doing. So my first day here, I was stitching on one of Teresa Kogut's Patreon pieces. This is called Santa with Ann and Ted. And you have to, right now you have to be a member of her Patreon to get it. And this was gifted to me, and so I've started him. And if you saw it last, I had the hat done and a little layer, one row of the skin right under the hat. Now he has an entire face. I love it. I think he's got a sweet face. And so this, of course, will be for my friend Cheryl for next year for Christmas. So I'm getting a head start on hers since I ran up so close to it this year. I thought, oh no, that's terrible. The day I was stitching that, a lady came over to the table and asked me what I was working on. And it turns out that she does needlepoint, and she's making little Christmas ornaments for her grandchildren. And their nickname for her is Tittle. And apparently there's a character in a book she's read to them, Tittle the Turtle. And so she's making them a turtle-themed Christmas ornament for each of them from Grandma Tittle. And then next, she said it'll be the beginning of a tradition, and she wants to do an ornament, needlepoint an ornament for them every year. But this will be the first one. She's got young grandchildren. So I thought that was great. So we sat and we stitched together that first day. It was lovely. So the big announcement that I have so far is that I have a finish. This was not that close to a finish when I got here. There was quite a bit of stitching left to do. I've worked on it for 2 days. And the day I finished it was the second day that I was working on it, and I actually did 1,053 stitches on it that one day to finish it. So this wasn't one of those things that I brought with only 100 stitches left just so I could have a finish. I know people accuse me of that sometimes. I don't do that. But this one, I knew when I got here that if I had the amount of time that I have on this trip, that if I started on this one and didn't put it away till I finished it, that I probably could finish it. And I did. I was very excited about it. But this is my Old Glory Angel. And I have changed just a couple of little things on it. This had her initials and a year, 2006, which was the year it was published. And I didn't put that up there. I very well may put a star or a 2025 charm on there. But this one, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to put my initials on it. It's about the patriotic. It's not about me. So, but there she is. And I've just noticed her feet are very much the color of the fabric. So I need to go in and back stitch them just so you can see them. I'll do that later today. But there's my finish. Old Glory Angel. Very excited about that. And then I had a birthday start because, you know, I said it was the 16th. So that's after my birthday. So I got a little bit of a start on this on my birthday, and I worked on it again today. So this is where I'm at on my birthday start. This is Cabin in the Woods. And that is by Flossibilities. And I have 2 things to share with you about this. Number 1, I got the Roxy Flosco for the Roxy Flosco conversion, and then realized I didn't have the actual conversion. So I just went on Google and said Roxy Flosco conversion for Cabin in the Woods, and it popped right up. So I copied it down. So I will put that in the notes down below if I remember when I get back home, in case you want it. But yeah, I had all the flosses, but didn't know what color they were supposed to be. And I started trying to figure them out. And I got most of them figured out before I said, this has got to be somewhere. Let me go check. And when I found it, I had a couple of them wrong. So there you go. But I'm building a house. I'm building the cabin in the woods. I did a center start. That's unusual for me. But I know that this pattern on my count of fabric, which is 32 count, it gives you the actual dimensions in here, and it says it's going to be 12 inches wide and only 6 1/8 inches tall. And I figured I wanted to have the equal amount of fabric above and below and on each side to ease in framing. And I want to be able to see this beautiful fabric, so I'm not going to put a mat on it. So I wanted to leave as much space as I could, top and bottom and sides. And so I started it right in the middle, which was about in here. And I started building my house. Now I intend to keep working on this today because I'm enjoying it. And the fabric I'm working on is a Fabrics by Stephanie, and it is called, let me find it. Where's my bag? There it is. Changeling, and this is 32 count linen. This color was beautiful, even though I don't particularly usually care for linen. I'm an even weave girl, but the color was so beautiful. I think I bought it at a retreat. But anyway, I have to put my things back so I don't lose anything. Can't leave it laying around like I could at home. So those are the projects that I've been working on. I will show you where I've gotten to on this. I'm not sure you can tell, but I've done this green in the crown and the blue in his eyes and in his shirt here. And I've done the green, part of the green, there you go, in his pants. You can kind of see where I've stitched. I just picked a color and went for it, and I color completed this blue-green color, and now I'm trying, which is down here as well, and now I'm trying to color complete the brightest blue as I go. This kit came with a mixture of skeins of floss, several of these different colors, and then it came with this thing here for the rest of them. So I guess if you don't use enough of it, they gave it to you in this format. I'm not quite sure, but I have found it to be a bit disorganized. I wasn't thrilled with the kit, but that's just neither here nor there. I'll get it done. But I am excited about my birthday start. I know a lot of you started it with me, and I appreciate that very much. And I hope you're having a good experience with it. Oh, another thing, I said I was going to tell you a couple of things. One was the Roxy Flossco does have a conversion out on Google. And the second thing is, when you look at the pattern versus the key in my pattern, there is the very tip top one here. Looks like half of the square colored in, but that symbol is nowhere on the pattern. Nowhere. And the color that is this number, therefore, doesn't have a symbol because it's nowhere on the fabric, nowhere on the pattern. So I looked to see where this color was used, and this is the symbol that's on the chart in that area. Now, not to be confused with this one, which is a half moon. This one is an arrowhead. It is definitely on the pattern quite sharp. You can see that it's sharp. So I had to make a note of that. I tried to go online and I looked at the Flossibilities every which way I could, trying to find if they had an error correction anywhere out there so I could see it, and unfortunately they don't. Or I couldn't find it. If you find it, let me know. Especially if it says it about that. But that was my experience. And so I have, as best I can, made sure I'm using the right colors, because that, unfortunately, was a color I needed for the house that I'm working on. And I had to solve that problem right away. So I think I did. I think I've got it right. So anyway, things happen. You know, things happen. But it's been a great trip so far. Shows have been very good. But one of my pleasures so far on this boat has been the puzzles. They have a jigsaw puzzle out right outside one of the lounges. And you can stop by there anytime and work on it. And people do. And I've gone up to the table and worked with other people on the puzzle. While my husband went to read or went to watch a trivia game or something like that. And that has been a lot of fun. I've met a couple of people around the puzzle who also enjoy putting puzzles together, and we're on puzzle number 3. We've put together 2 already, and they'll probably have finished the 3rd one by now, but I worked on it last night. So after our show in the evening, it's too early really to go to bed, and they have a lounge right there, right where the puzzle is. You go right into a lounge next door, and they have music, and so it's live music, and so we can hear the music, and I can work on the puzzle. And if my husband wants to, he can stand with me, or he can go in there and sit down. So that's been fun. That's kind of been something I haven't ever had before, and I've enjoyed it a lot. But it's taken some of my stitching time, but that's okay. It's been a good fun trip. Well, that's all the stitching for today, and a big catch up on what we've been doing. So I'm not even sure which island we're supposed to be at tomorrow. I have not looked. But my intention tomorrow is to rest. We've been going a lot on this trip, and so I think I'm going to rest. I may sleep in. I got up early this morning to go have breakfast with my hubby. He's been going to breakfast without me, and then I was just eating a piece of fruit or something in the room. And at dinner, one of the waitresses actually said, "Are you ever coming back to breakfast with your husband? I see him every morning without you." I'm like, "Oh, I better do that." So I did that today. I was a good girl, and I got up this morning and we had breakfast together, which was lovely. So I love it. It's been a very positive experience, and I'm really happy about that. It was a great birthday present. It's my birthday present and our Christmas present to each other to get to do this, because trips are expensive when you fly somewhere and then get on a cruise. So that's what we're doing. We're gifting it to each other for this year's events. And so thanks for coming along with me. I hope you've enjoyed seeing some of the stitching. I've got a clip or two in here, pictures of us on the boat. My husband, they have a Fabergé egg on display here that was designed for the boat by Queen Elizabeth. So, or not by her, but she commissioned it. And I will, my husband got a picture of me looking at the egg, so I will try to put that in for you. And then one day we came from dinner and we walked by one of the pieces of art on the wall, and I started laughing. I said, "That looks just like the fabric in my jacket." And he had me stand in front of it to take my picture to see if you could find me in the picture. You can. But it is funny. It does look very similar. It has similar colors in it. I'll try to pop that in here if I think about it. And also a little video of us being here at St. Lucia and it raining and what that looks like from the ship. And my husband took a little video of that this morning. Now the sun is out now and it's shiny and pretty. But this morning it was rainy when people left to go on their excursions. But so for Christmas Eve, you're going to make your shrimp.
Okay. Christmas Eve?
Yeah.
I'm going to make the shrimp. Yeah. I'm going to do my honey chicken. Yeah. And I'm going to do peri à la vianda.
And so we'll need to get some crusty bread. And
Some kind of charcuterie.
small cookies. But I hope that'll give you a little flavor for what we're doing and where we've been. And I'm going to let you get on back to the next clip, and hopefully it'll be more stitching. In the meantime, happy stitching to you. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Dina. It is the 17th of December. So I am here to share with you a little bit of stitching. Yesterday it rained all day. We didn't go anywhere off this ship. So I was able to stitch, and I stitched a lot yesterday. So I chose to stitch on a piece that I had set a monthly goal for. I wanted to stitch 500 stitches in my Ode to a Good Dog. That's by Ellen Reed, and I'm working on that. And I actually wanted to get the 500 stitches in it for my monthly goal, but I also set a little goal that I wanted to get as much of this motif done as I could, and I am happy to let you know I did 765 stitches yesterday, and this morning I did another 313. So over 1,000 stitches in it, and I almost got this whole house built. All I have to do is put a roof on it. I'm excited. So the house wasn't even there yesterday, not a stitch of it. And in the last 2 days, I've done everything but the roof. So I'll put the roof on it next time I work on it. And then I can put the green grass, that one color of grass, all the way across where the house is. And then that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm going over and stitching what's above it and then doing the grass as I go over. This is going to be one of my Year of Whip pieces for next year. So I'm really happy to get this much of it done in the month of December so that it'll be in a lot easier position for me to finish it next year. So I'm not going to keep you long today. I am actually about to pull out another project to stitch on, and I think I'm going to go up to the observation deck where the other folks come to read or stitch or needlepoint and see who's out and about, and stitch till lunch when I can meet my husband for lunch. So I've been a very productive girl this morning. I stitched and then I went to the gym and actually did a good workout today. I needed to. I felt with all the food. So I feel much better now. At least I feel like I've done something to combat it, all the overeating you do. Anyway, I hope you're having a great month of stitching. I'm having a wonderful trip, and it's restful and relaxing, and I'm enjoying it greatly. I am excited that we are getting to know some people on the ship, and just briefly, and that makes it so much fun. We are meeting a couple for dinner tomorrow night and the next night, so that's awesome. Two different couples that we've met on the ship. Last night we went to dinner at the French restaurant called Chartreuse, and this was the gift box they gave us, thanking us for coming to eat. And what was inside of it were 2 little macaroons. My husband ate those last night, so I didn't get those. But I didn't think I liked French food. That I'd had an experience only once, and I felt like everything on the menu was covered in sauce and stuff, and I just didn't think I'd like it. But I was pleasantly surprised that not everything was covered in sauce. And I was able to find some things that I liked, and had a couple of pleasant surprises with what we ordered. So that was a nice experience for me. It kind of changed my mind about French food, which was good. Anyway, I'm gonna pack up my stitching, get ready to go upstairs and to lunch, and I will talk to you soon when I have more stitching or news to share. Merry Christmas, everybody. It's getting close. I hope you're ready. I'm almost there. I don't know what my son wants for Christmas. I haven't asked him. But everything else is done. So, I hope that you are getting some time to enjoy the season. And I will remind you, those of you who enjoy watching the musical that our church puts on every year, it's different every year. It is streaming now on the website, fbcgainesville.org, and go for services, and you can find the living Christmas tree and have a beautiful Christmas concert. So I hope you enjoy it if you are interested. And other than that, I'll say goodbye for now. Happy stitching, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. This is Dina, and I'm coming to you today on Saturday, the 19th of December, and I am delighted to be able to tell you I got some stitching done. I don't know, because it's been several days gaps in here when I've been able to record. I don't know if I've told you this or not, but somehow I have tweaked a back muscle and have caused myself a good deal of discomfort. Anyway, by doing that, it only hurts when I move and breathe. So anyway, I went to the spa this morning for an 8 o'clock appointment for a deep tissue massage. I just finally bit the bullet and said, you got to work this knot out in my back. And you know, those times when you say it hurts so good, well, that's kind of what it was like. She was excellent, and she got most of the knot out of my back and stretched everything out, and actually even put an anti-inflammatory cream and a hot poultice on my back, which felt really good. And so I am feeling human again. It's still there. I can still feel it. It's not completely gone. But I think when I get home, I'll probably check in with my doctor and just make sure that I don't need to do any serious stretching exercises, or just what I need to do to let it continue to heal. So my stitching time has been greatly reduced because sitting up with my head down stitching aggravates it, and so I can't do very much at a time. But I have finally gotten enough to share with you. So I've been working, the latest thing I've been working on is my Land That I Love Biscournu, and this is what it looks like in the Teresa Kogut pattern booklet. This is my working copy, and I've already done this one. I did that on red fabric, if you recall, and now I'm doing this one on the beige fabric. And when I picked it up, I had 2 of the red portions of the berry bowls done, and I had all of this in here done. So now on the cruise, I have completed the other 2 red parts of the berry bowl, and I've added the berries on all 4 of those sides. So it's making progress. This one, to be quite honest with you, I had planned on finishing on this cruise. I thought with a 2 to 3 days stitching time, I would have it finished. I had put it in my Determined Stitchers goals for the month of December. However, I may not make it with my back the way it is. I can't stitch long, and there's a lot left to do for this one. So I'm going to put it away. I'm not going to keep trying to work on it knowing that I may not finish it. I brought other things to work on, and I'm going to pull one of those out and just kind of see if it is something I can work on and something I can do, and go from there. But again, this is how far I got on the berry bowl side of my Biscournu. So I still have the 2 more branches to go in between, and then there's the filling in amongst all the berries and adding the little leaves amongst all the berries. And also, it's not showing on here. It's not showing on here at all. However, every one of these little stems has flowers on the end that are turned up on the sides. And so there are 2 sets per stem, I guess, of flowers to go on there. So there's still, you know, like there's a bunch of flowers to go in over here that aren't there yet. So it's, it very well may not get finished. That will be the first, if I don't finish it in December, that'll be my first goal I've ever set for myself in that Determined Stitchers group that I didn't meet. But you know, I think sometimes life throws you a curveball, and that's okay. That's all right. Nothing's gonna happen bad if I don't finish it, right? I just have it to work on the next month, so that'll be good. I will tell you, we had a delightful evening last night. We went to dinner with a couple we've met on the ship, and went back to Prom 7, which is the steakhouse. And when we first went there, it was my birthday, And so they brought a birthday cake for my birthday and split it up amongst everybody. And they didn't even offer us a dessert menu. We didn't even know what kind of desserts they had there. So today, or last night, when we went with our friends that we've met on the ship, new acquaintances that are becoming friends, we got to see the dessert menu. And so I had a sundae that's called a caramel popcorn sundae. Yes, you heard me right. It's ice cream, chocolate and vanilla ice cream. And then it has caramel coated popcorn in it. It is delicious. You know how sometimes you want something sweet and sometimes you want something salty? Well, this has both of them at one time. It was delicious. I think Tommy got a picture of it. And so, because we were taking a few pictures around the table. So if I do have one, I'll pop it in here so you can see what I'm talking about. But today I surprised my husband and we went to one of the specialty restaurants for lunch. On different days, the specialty restaurants will take turns opening for lunch, and they have a pared down menu for lunch. And you can go in there in the nice restaurant without a reservation and, you know, just be seated. And that's what we did today. And it was lovely. We went into the Chartreuse, which is the French restaurant. That was not going to be my favorite place, I didn't think. And my husband didn't think he'd ever get me back in there. And as it turned out, I checked their menu out today, and they had a sweet and sour chicken that looked really good. And they had some vegetable spring rolls that looked good. And it all kind of went together. And so we went there for lunch and had a beautiful view. We were sitting right on the back of the boat, right at the window, looking out at the ocean. It was gorgeous. So this has been an absolutely lovely time. So thanks for letting me share that with you, and encourage you, if you ever get to travel, to try to include a cruise in your itinerary someday. I love to travel in that manner. I think it's so relaxing. So I am gonna say good night, and I'm gonna try to put this all away, clean up this stitching area I've created for myself here at the makeup mirror, and then I'm gonna see if I can pull out something else and get comfortable enough to stitch a little bit. And if so, I'll share it with you another day. In the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. This is Dina. It is the 21st of December, and I've been doing a bit of stitching, a little bit each day, which is great. And I wanted to share with you what I decided to work on. I'm looking for my picture. Here it is. Sorry. Things are a little moved around right now because we are packing to go home from our trip. But I had pulled out Dancer, and this is a Barbara Anna's design, and so I have been working on Dancer a little bit in the last couple of days. So let me show you where I got to. I worked on it on the 20th and the 21st and wound up with a total of 677 stitches in it, which I'm excited about. So what I did is I came in here and did this group of houses that sits on top of the head. And then I went through and did the face, the beginning of the face. This is the head, forehead. This is the long part that goes down the nose. And this is where the two eyes will be. So I'm getting a good deal of progress made there in the middle, which is wonderful. But tonight is our last night on board our ship, and we will be having dinner shortly, in about an hour, I guess. We have to put our luggage out tonight, and so my husband and I spent the afternoon packing everything back up and getting ready to go. In the morning, I will get ready just with a backpack. We're going to use a backpack each to carry our pajamas and our IDs and things, so that we can get ready for our flight. Our flight isn't until later in the day, so we're not in a big hurry. We don't have to rush right off the boat. I mean, there's the time they want you to be gone, but we don't have to get up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning and get down there by 7:30 or 8 or anything like that. And we are going to take an Uber to the airport because we have plenty of time to get there. We don't need a transfer from the ship. And so we'll take our Uber from to the airport and check in and get everything taken care of. And then we can sit and relax and maybe have lunch at the airport before we fly home, which will be great. We are scheduled to arrive around 5 o'clock tomorrow evening, and then we'll do our usual return home trip. We'll jump on the MARTA, go back to our car, take our car, and go back home. And then early in the morning, we'll go pick up Coco. So I'm excited about that. Anyway, I just wanted to share with you what I've been working on and what I've been stitching on, and I feel real good about that. Today, I started looking at acrostics for next month. I started trying to think ahead on some of the ones I didn't have when we had our planning session, the planning stitchers that I work with. And so I'm looking forward to that. I do have a Bringo board drafted at home, but I didn't have the acrostics for monthly magazine challenge group or the 24 hours of cross stitch done yet, but I've gotten those since I've been visiting or vacationing, and so now I have those ready to start working on. So I'm happy about that. My husband and I have decided that we're going to go to the Italian restaurant for dinner tonight, our last night on board, and I'm looking so forward to that. It's quite funny because when we booked the cruise and there was an Italian restaurant that we could go to, my husband said to me, because he knows how much I like Italian food, he said, now, we'll probably go there at least once now. Don't ask me to go there every night. And I said, okay, I won't. And I haven't. But here's the funny thing. He's fallen in love with it. So we have been twice to that restaurant. And now he wants it to be our last night. He wants us to go there for dinner tonight. And I was just going to go to the regular dining room. And he said, no, I want to go there. I said, okay, I don't mind at all. So that's good. I'm glad to know he's enjoyed it a lot. That's about all the news I have for today, really. It's been a great trip. We've had a wonderful time. We've stitched together. We have played games together. We have had dinner with several times. We've had dinner with other couples that we've met on the boat, which has been great. And so it has been a delightful trip. I'm looking forward to getting home, though. I have to tell you, I miss my puppy dog. And today I read a book, and I want to share it with you. I read this book over the last probably 3 days, off and on. And it's by James Middleton, and the title is Meet Ella. It's his first book. And in case you don't catch it right away, because I didn't catch it right away, James Middleton is Kate Middleton's brother. So his sister is now married to Prince William. So he talks about his dog Ella and what an important role she plays in his life. Now, this book is an extremely interesting, very revealing story because he shares his battle with mental illness, how seriously he fought depression and things in his life, and how his dog Ella really is the reason he stayed alive and did not commit suicide. So there's some triggers in here that could be rough for you, but I will tell you, it is a delightful, delightful story And because you know how much I love Coco, you can imagine how much it meant to me that he wrote this book about the role that his beloved pet had in keeping him from going over the edge, and because she needed him to take care of her, and that's what kept him going. And then he got into with a wonderful therapist and started healing, and it took a long time, but by the end of the book he is happy and healthy, and he and Ella have turned their life into some business opportunities, and his entire family has been very supportive of his journey, and it's a very uplifting book. But I will tell you, there's some tears in here too. So it's quite an emotional read. I felt it was an emotional read for me. It touched me several times. But it's James Middleton, Meet Ella. And my husband got it at Ollie's for $4.99. Had no idea. He got it because of the dog. And because it says here on the bottom, the dog who saved my life. He had no idea who the person was. So he hasn't begun the book yet. He brought 3 with him, and he's been reading the other 2, and I got to read this one. So I just wanted to share it with you. If you want a really encouraging story, you could read that one. But again, be prepared about how openly he's going to talk about his depression, and in the hopes that other people will realize they're not alone, that are suffering with that. And I think it's a very selfless gift that he did that. So wanted to share that with you too. So that was fun to get some reading in. Wish us safe travels tomorrow. I'm hoping that the next thing you see is me telling you that I'm home safe and sound. So I will try to remember to do that and include it with this clip. In the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. As you can see, I am back home in my stitching room. It is December 23rd, and I am very grateful to be home. The last little clip that you saw mentioned wish us well. I hope the next clip you see will be home safe and sound. And I am delighted to be able to tell you that we are home safe and sound. But it was a very long journey. I guess we were due. I told this to my sister, Stephanie, when I was texting with her from the airport, that we have been so fortunate. We've traveled so many times without any trouble whatsoever. No lost luggage, no big delays. When you travel on a cruise ship, they want you off as quick as possible because they've got to get ready for the people coming on that afternoon. And so we were off that boat by 8:30 in the morning, and we stood outside waiting for an Uber and grabbed an Uber to the airport, which was quite a bit of a ride to the airport. But let's say by 9:30, we were at the airport. Traveling at this time of the year is, to be expected, very busy. And so we were expecting long lines, and we found them. And we were in a very long line because when we went to print out our luggage tags, there was a printer problem, and it made us have to go to see an agent. And all we found out later was that we were there so early. You can't print out your luggage tags any closer than 6 hours before your flight is scheduled to depart. And we were just over that and didn't know it. And it triggered it to have an error, and that sent us off to see an agent. And so they had to explain that to us. Anyway, they could print them off, so they did, and we were able to give them our luggage. But I will tell you, we were in a line for a very long time, I would say probably close to an hour, before we were taken care of, and our luggage was taken and put on the plane and whatnot. We were fine. We had our baggage checked, and then we had to head to security. We were TSA pre-checked, so we went through pretty quick, but it's still a long line. And but we made that just fine. And then we found ourselves then in the airport in Miami. It's about 10:30, quarter till 11, and our flight doesn't leave till 3:30. But what are you gonna do? You have to get off the boat early. We didn't want to have a flight too early because we didn't want to be stressed trying to get there. So we took the earliest one we could after lunch, which was the 3:20 something. But we get to the airport and we found out that people flying from Miami to Atlanta that morning for connecting flights, they had an earlier flight at 11. That flight had been canceled. So there were a lot of extra people hanging out at the airport, and they were all trying to get to Atlanta. And so our flight was scheduled to leave at 3 something, and we got a notice around 3 o'clock, probably within a 30-minute window of when we were supposed to start boarding, that our flight was delayed for about 30 minutes or so. We're like, oh man, okay. So my husband and I had been at the airport long enough that we had had lunch, and that was probably around 12:30 or 1 o'clock. And we thought, that's good, that'll help carry us through, because our flight will land around 5:30 or so, then we'll just go ahead and drive on home. Well, long story short, our flight was delayed 3 times. I spent a lot of time in the airport in Miami, let me tell you. We did not leave there until 6 o'clock that night. And we flew into Atlanta. Luggage was right there, not a problem. That was good, no problem there. But my husband and I, if you recall, if you watched my other video where we were leaving on our trip, we took the MARTA into the airport. Well, the MARTA train only runs till a certain point at night. And when we got to Atlanta and then got our luggage and then tried to get to the MARTA, I think we probably got on one of the last trains running, because we were on the MARTA train trying to get to our car, which was an hour away north of the airport. It was 11 o'clock while we were on that train. So needless to say, we got home about 1:30 in the morning this morning. And we should have been home by 5 o'clock or so, 6 at the latest yesterday. And instead we got home about 1:30 this morning. So we both just brought in the luggage. We only unpacked what we absolutely had to brush our teeth and all that stuff, and went to bed. This morning, we had to get up early because we had promised to pick our precious Coco up by 10 o'clock in the morning. And I had an 8 o'clock appointment. And so went today and actually had an appointment and evaluation with a physical therapist, because I mentioned I had tweaked my back really bad while we were cruising. And that traveling at the airport, sitting in that airport all day, all crunched over and crowded with people, and couldn't easily get up and walk around too much. I tried doing some of that, but it was very crowded and hard to really do much maneuvering. And my back was adversely affected, I think. Anyway, I was in a lot of discomfort, and so I messaged my regular doctor and said, could you refer me for an evaluation? I'm really having a painful experience with this back muscle. So today I went to PT and I was evaluated, and basically what I was told was that I probably had been aggravating my back muscles for a while with my new working out and my long hours of stitching, looking down, a lot. I've got to change that and put everything on my stands so that I can sit up. So if you're not sitting up, you need to make that adjustment. Please do, because you're not going to like it if you don't. But anyway, my therapist thinks, my PT thinks, that it was the traveling, the pulling of the luggage along and lifting the heavy luggage and having to pull it, to get onto the boat and having to pull it up down the aisles and onto the train and off the train and all that crazy traveling that I did. It really, really did a number on it. And so today we did some tissue massage, and then we did some wonderful stretching exercises, and I have to now do those twice a day and use a heating pad and really baby myself for a couple of weeks. And restricted no gym activity for till after Christmas and that sort of thing. But I will tell you, after that one visit today, it's not healed, but it is so much better than it was. I feel so much better. So, what did I do during all that time at the airport? I cross-stitched a little, not a lot, a little, to help when I got really frustrated and bored and nothing to do. But anyway, this was the only project that I had with me because we were forced to check all of our baggage because of the crowdedness of the flight. I wasn't allowed to keep my cross-stitch suitcase with me. So then it's sitting in the airport all that time. I didn't have my scissors. I didn't have my needle threader. I actually went to one of the little kiosks and bought nail clippers. And I cut my threads with nail clippers. I was that desperate, let me tell you. Anyway, this is what I got done. The last time you saw him, I had the brown in the middle that I had been working on. And since then, I've done all of this face and top of his head, top of his ears, and the bottom of his ears. So there's one more color in here for ears, but the eyes are just about done. And then I'll have the bottom of his face down here. So isn't that gorgeous? A whole lot more on Dancer than I expected to have done, but that was the stitching that I got done waiting at the airport. All that long story to tell you that, sorry. Anyway, but the good news is I am at home and I am doing better and we are safe and sound. And when I wake up in the morning, it'll be Christmas Eve, and I'm excited about that. We did check in with our son, and he is working Christmas Day, and he is on call, and so he has to stay very close into the rehab facility that he works for in case anybody needs anything. And so he can't come home, but we kind of figured that might happen because he's one of the newer guys, And so we are planning to get together to do our Christmas later. And sometime in January or February, we'll have Christmas. And we're going to just pretend it's Christmas that day and do our gifts for each other. So I will wish him a Merry Christmas when I see him, but it's just going to be one of those things. So anyway, I will go ahead and try to wrap this up so I can post it for you and share my travels with you. And hopefully you have gotten a whole lot more stitching done this month than I have. But I am delighted with what I was able to accomplish. Every little bit helps, And I enjoyed myself. So that's a good thing. Anyway, I hope and pray you have a very Merry Christmas if you celebrate, and that you've had a happy holiday season, and we're coming into the new year. I do have a New Year, New Start planned, as you know, and I hope you do. And can't wait to see what all 2026 brings. Happy stitching, everybody.